everybody, and welcome to the final episode of Between Sermons as Christian Life Center. Was that too much of a dramatic pause? The final, dramatic, the last one.
Very
dun,
dramatic.
dun, dun.
I'm here for it.
So if you are new, my name is Brent. Welcome to Between Sermons, where we're continuing our conversation from Sundays. Think of this as like your glimpse into a small group discussion about the sermon from Sunday. You wouldn't have to have watched our message on Sunday in order to get something out of this conversation, I hope. However, if you want to check out that sermon, it'll be linked in the notes. But this is our last episode as Christian Life Center. But don't worry, we'll be right back here, same time, same place next week. It'll just be a Disciples Church podcast because we are in process of changing the name of our ministry after almost 35 years from Christian Life Center to Disciples Church. And we're excited about that. And so in order to have this conversation, I am joined, as always, by the one and only Taisha Beasley.
Yes, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to have another female, my sister, on the show with me.
we have to link arms.
We have to.
I watched the podcast, and I'm always like, why are you doing that
attacking
to
me?
My girl?
Thank you.
Like, my girl needs help. Needs friends.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's payback.
Look, sometimes in discipleship, there's correction that has to happen.
Wait,
this guy is just going too deep and talking all the time. Like, what is happening?
Yes,
we need to bring order.
We need to bring order. So we're gonna do that today. With this being the last episode, we're gonna set things straight so we can go into DC podcasting.
Sure. And I mean, she might be your friend, but just remember, she's my wife.
True.
So I watch all of the episodes. I have a lot to say.
Man, let's just, you know what? We're skipping the conversation. We're talking about all of those moments where I needed a friend and a sister. But our guest today needs no introduction. She's amazing, talented, beautiful, lovely. We don't say first lady here, but she is definitely queen of this castle, Pastor Sol, and we are so happy to have hype you up. That's what we do in sisterhood. You
but
see?
you didn't use her new name. She got a new name today.
She did. What did Pastor Jason?
Pastor Fuego.
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 Oh, as in fire.
Yes.
I don't know.
He's just being silly.
Yeah, break this down. Fire as in like you come with the fire, or fire like you are fire, because both apply.
You're gonna have to ask him. I don't know. I have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
I have no clue.
I love that. So, but he said you told him to call you that. So
he was asking for things from stage. So he was saying fire, and he was saying that it was gonna bring a word that was like fire. And it was like inspirational. And I think that I yelled fuego just because.
Love it.
Because you yell things
I yell things.
Like,
if he's asking, I'll help. I didn't ask him to call me that.
Okay, but it happened.
It just happened.
And it stuck. Because
I
think Pretty said,
we will see.
Pretty said that's her new name for you. So. So we are excited to have you on the show, and just not really in the conversation, but this is really actually starting the conversation about discipleship. Like, I know we did Be One last week, and we did Make One this week. And the two, first of all, who came up with that tagline, Be One, Make One? Was it you behind the brains behind it, or?
I don't know how fully it came to be. Like, I think that we were just talking about it.
We stole it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so scratch.
We saw it.
100%.
We saw it, but it was not like a tagline from like a church or anything like that.
Right.
It was like somebody's
I don't know. It was like a random
something.
image that we saw that just said "Be One, Make One," and I was like, "That's it."
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that works.
Yeah.
Not original, but it works.
Oh, yeah. So one of
now
our
it's trademarked.
no, one of our overseers.
We stole it and we own it. This is what we do in America.
One of our overseers.
Like Tim Rose will say, steal and make better.
See, I was trying not to name drop. I was trying not to be like, we know Tim Ross, and he told us. No. I was just gonna say one of our overseers once told us, steal but make better.
But make it better.
That is top tier advice.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't know if it matches the 10 Commandments, but steal but make better.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
I don't know. We borrowed.
We borrowed and we improved
and applied.
That sounds very.
There's
we did
nothing
something
new under the sun, people.
Listen, we got all the scriptures
We
to
have
back
all
up.
the scriptures.
But be one, make one. I think it is such a fitting, subtitle for what it means to be a disciple. Like discipleship is all about being one and making one.
Yeah.
I guess technically you're supposed to make more than one, but be one, make one sounds better than be one, make a bunch.
Make a bunch. Is there a number we should all strive for when making disciples?
No.
I think what we should be striving for is one more.
Okay.
That's kind of my heart is there's one more. So I don't know if you've made 10, make one more. You've made 10,000, make one more. You've made 0, make one more. Like it's just always one more.
Should you make multiple at the same time? I have a lot of questions. Like,
Sure,
how
why
do we do that?
Absolutely.
I think that everything depends on, your life,
Yeah.
your capacity, because we don't want to do things halfway. We don't want to not be able to be available. If you're telling people, I'm going to be walking with you, and if you need anything, you can call on me, but you are in this season where you are not available and they need you and you're not there, then why to put more on you having a lot of people, right? Maybe sometimes you just have the capacity to truly care well for one person. That doesn't mean that you don't talk about Jesus to people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that is the difference. Like, if you cannot be fully committed to 20 people, be committed to one. That's fine. But continue talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
Bring them to a place where they can learn and receive Jesus, and surround yourself with people who can have the capacity to care for them.
Yeah.
It is not like, well, I don't have the capacity, so I'm not going to do anything. I think that's a difference.
Yeah.
Definitely a capacity issue. I would say shout out to our CLC Devout family, but their model is 12. So like that's their big push is 12 disciples, because Jesus had 12 disciples. Growing up as an American, we use a base 10 math system. So in my head, it's always 10, multiples of 10. And so like we've even taught like our staff here, it's like, hey, if you have one leader and more than 10 people under that one leader, you're probably going to end up failing, because it's really hard for us to be connected to more than 10 at a time. So like my discipleship group that I'm starting in February, it's 10 guys.
Okay.
And so I think that wherever your capacity is, I think 1 or 2 people is a great dynamic to have. So like if you're going out to sit down for an hour and talk through discipleship with somebody, 1 or 2 people in that conversation with you is fantastic. The more people you get into that conversation, the less each person is really connecting and really having part of that conversation. So
That's good.
Yeah, we just don't want anybody walking alone. And I think that's something that I've seen so much throughout the years with the church, because we started going into this mentality of let's just win the world for Jesus, which is great. Like, that's a great goal to have.
Yeah.
But sometimes in that endeavor, you end up just going and telling people about Jesus. They receive Jesus and you just move on.
Yep.
And then you have freshly new converts that have no idea what to do, how their life is actually going to be transformed. What does this actually mean? So it is very difficult for them to be fully grounded in Jesus if they don't have anybody that they can walk with, somebody that can actually show them what it means and how to live differently. And I think that is where just as the C Church, we have been quite weak in recent years, that we have not fully equip people to follow Jesus well.
No, that's true. I like just to go back, do a little summary of your message, Make One, which is a continuation of last week, which was Be One. And so this week we're talking about how you duplicate what you've learned as a disciple. And so I liked in your sermon how you talked about, like, you did the game Simon said. And you was like, you had us like touch our nose and all the fun.
Give me a show, people. Give me a game show, and I will stop doing this at church.
Well, you can come in and hang out with me on this show anytime. But I love how you stated, like, you had us do different prompts, touch our head and all this other stuff. But you said, how much more do we need to follow the voice of God?
Yeah.
And I feel like in being a disciple, it's also about knowing God and knowing his word. So why is the Be One, Make One? Because I guess it is the foundation of discipleship, but why is it so important to teach it to our congregation as we go into this new stage of Disciples Church?
So I think the reality of this is, if you're waiting for the pastor to make you a disciple, you're going to be waiting a really long time. Mm-hmm. Like today, we had over 1,000 people in the church. I can't make 1,000 disciples.
You can do it. No, I'm just kidding.
I met a bunch of people today for the very first time.
Wow.
I remember some of their names. But if I don't even know your name, I'm not discipling you, right? And so our model is based off of Ephesians, that says the work of the pastors, prophets, evangelists, teachers, all their job is to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. And so really the person that's going to be doing the ministry is the people in the congregation. And so when it comes to discipleship, you need somebody that's actually sitting beside you in that service, that knows your name, that knows your struggles, that knows what you've been going through, that can actually walk this through. And so if this is just something that the pastors and the staff and the elders are like, yeah, we're making disciples, we're going to be very limited in the number of disciples we can actually make, and how well we can make them.
And the thing is that you can inspire and you can challenge and you can teach the word of God, from stage, but that doesn't replace the one-on-one component of discipleship. It is necessary. You need to be known and know people. So you need to be able to say, this is what I'm struggling with today. Like when I was preaching this morning, how many people did I actually knew their stories from this week?
Mine. I'm just
but it is very limited.
Yeah.
So if the only discipleship moment that you have is just coming and getting the information, you are not really walking with people and getting challenged and getting prayed for and getting encouraged. Nobody is knowing you. So when something happens in your life, when you are struggling, when you are in pain, when you're celebrating, nobody's there with you. And we should not be living life alone. We are supposed to do things together. And together we see God. And when you're struggling in your faith, I can give you some of my strength, and when I am struggling, you give me some of yours, right? It is that relationship. And if you don't have that, it is gonna be way more difficult for you to fully commit to Christ, because when you lack that conversation and that moment of being real and transparent with somebody, when you are doing the same thing that you have always done and you're not really changing your life, who knows about it? So you need people. You do.
And maybe I'm overcomplicating, and maybe some people overcomplicate discipleship. So how perfect do you have to be to disciple people? I mean, I'm not being funny, but it's like, should I know all of the scripture? Should I be in position of leadership? How can we encourage people to really take ownership of discipleship outside of I'm a leader, I'm a staff, I'm a pastor? How do we get people to take hold of that and really own it? Because it's
perfect though,
right? No, I know
none of us are, none of us are perfect. So if you're waiting to be perfect, then you wait until you see Jesus, because on this side of eternity, we are never gonna be perfect, ever.
So can you have is there a list of struggles you should not have when you start discipling people?
Honestly, I don't have a list.
Okay.
I would say that there's probably some people that have maybe some very strong sin issues in their life, that in that season you probably should really be focusing on being discipled more than discipling somebody else. However, like we've talked about a couple, I think 2 weeks in a row now,
Yeah.
we've used the whole 1 week ahead.
Yes.
And I think that there's an element of staying 1 week ahead
Yeah.
that I think is vital in all of this. And so, yeah, I think that you can know that there's a sin that you're struggling with and still be doing your best to disciple someone else. But you just have to be very careful in those moments to not be leading them into the same sin that you're in. And so that would be my...
Or to not fake it, you know. I think
Right.
that can be very easy to just go into the, oh no, like I am great, I am doing fantastic, I love Jesus, but you're secretly still doing what you always wanted to do, you know.
Yeah.
I think that the most important thing is you are striving to be more like Jesus.
Yeah.
You are truly committing yourself to follow everything that the scriptures say. And if we are all honest, there's a lot of times where we all fall short from that because we are not perfect. We are still people. Like even just yesterday we were talking, me and Brent, and I was just feeling all kinds of anxiety and just a lot of stuff, and my husband was like, okay, so have you done this and have you done that, are you praying? And I'm like, and I literally told him, like, I don't want to pray again, like I just want this to be over, right?
Oh my God.
So yeah, like we all still have moments of like, this is hard,
Yeah.
but are you still gonna push to say, but no matter how I feel, I'm still gonna look at God, and no matter how I feel, I'm still gonna go and pray and listen to worship music because I need Jesus right now, right? So I think that as long as your heart truly is to look at God, to follow Him truly, to do it when it hurts, to know that you are trying to say no to yourself or to the things that are happening in your life, yet you're saying, God, it is not about what I want, it's about what you have commanded us to do. So I'm gonna do my best. I think that is when you're in a better position to tell other people, I know, man, like it's hard, but we can do it. I think that it is when you have that resolve to say, I am going to do what God called me to do, and no matter what happens, we're in this together. And I think that that's when discipleship can be happening, because then you can see it in yourself and you can see it in other people, and you can say, we're gonna get there. And when you were talking about like knowing all of the scriptures and all the stuff, people need to be okay saying, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that people need to be okay saying, I have no idea how that works. I don't know what that verb means. Let's figure it out together. Let me go and ask my pastor. Let me go and ask my leader. Let me go and ask somebody that I trust, that I know that they know more about the Bible than I do. And I either come back with the answer or we'll go together, right? Yeah. Let's figure this out together, because then you're not just helping that person, you're also getting knowledge. And it is okay. I think that we all should be good trying to come up with those answers together instead of just pretending that you know it all, or waiting until you know it all. Because we don't. And there's times that somebody asks us a question and we are like, I have no clue. And that have led us to study something. And you're like, oh, now I understand it better because somebody else had a question. And that enriches your life too.
Yeah, to jump in there, I think one thing that we also have to keep in mind is that there's technically speaking, there's like two kinds of discipleship that's going on.
Okay.
And one is very evangelistic. It's taking somebody that doesn't know Christ and walking through this process. And maybe we can talk about the distinction of that as we get into these points. And so it's either not a Christian to becoming a Christian, or like baby Christian. Like in that moment, yes, the discipleship relationship is this. It's like person here, discipling person here. But there's also a level of discipleship that happens that I would call mutual discipleship.
Okay.
Where you guys are both on the same level and you're just challenging and encouraging each other. And so it isn't that one of you is like the master and the other one is the student. In that relationship, it's like, okay, Jesus is the master and we're both students, but we're trying to learn together.
That's good.
And so there's this mutual discipleship that's happening where, hey, I could come this week and be like, man, I got this great word from God. Let's talk about it together. And then the following week you could come and be like, man, I got beat up this week and I don't know what to do. Right? And so you can both be the one teaching and the one learning within that dynamic, within that relationship.
That's something really good to highlight. And I think I'm glad that was brought up in the podcast, because maybe people had this mindset of like one has to be above the other to have like a true discipleship moment. Because I'm even thinking about this word duplication, and some people shouldn't be duplicating themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and that is a huge challenge. Like I think we've talked about this before, but like when Paul says, "Follow me as I follow Christ," like imitate me as I imitate Christ. It's like, okay, if you were to say that to somebody and they start following you, are they going to end up at Jesus?
Yes.
Or not? And there's some people out there like, and there's been times in my life where it was like, if you're following me right now, neither of us are ending up with Jesus, and like I need some help, right?
Yes.
And so we do have to like make sure that we're the ones following Jesus.
Yes.
And that's why the progression is what we have, right? You are one first, and then you make one. You have to be one to make one.
Yeah.
So you are working on the things that are in your life so that you can become more like Jesus, so that then you can tell people about what is happening in your life.
Yeah, because only a disciple can make a disciple.
Absolutely. And I think that none of us, when we say duplicators, none of us are saying like we don't want an army of
little souls,
like running around. That will be terrifying. No, we want to see Jesus in every single person, that every single person is saying, okay, now I am duplicating what the word says. Because if Saul is living what the word says and Saul is striving for what the word says, I am going to be challenging you to strive for what the word says. It is never going to be like, do as I do. Because in all honesty, we all struggle with different things. We all learn differently. We all process life differently. Like my husband is more of a thinker. I have more of a crier. Like I just need.
I didn't know those were the two options. You
Like,
can either think or you can cry.
Like I am more of a crier. Let's talk about it. Let me process out loud. And he's just very quiet. And I'm like, it's just that you don't care about any of this stuff.
It makes sense now.
Analytical and emotional. Is that? I don't know what the two tiers are.
I guess that makes more sense with words.
I just feel like thinking and crying are not like on the same level. Like, here's the two options: you can either think or you can cry.
Did you talk about that last week? Like no crying, your legs been weak or something.
Like he just he just processed differently. So we cannot just assume that what works for me in my walk with God is gonna work for everybody. Even in your devotional time, like some people want to wake up at 5 a.m. and read the Bible. I wake up at 5 a.m. and read the Bible. You know what I learned? Absolutely nothing, because I was falling asleep. Right? I fought more to stay awake than to actually read. For me, 5 a.m. doesn't work. For me, getting up before all of my kids so that I can have my quiet time actually quiet doesn't work. For me, what works is my kids are gone, they are in school, I can sit down with my cup of coffee, and then I am awake and I can read my Bible. So what works
always got to bring that coffee in.
Coffee and Jesus. Let's get her a shirt or a plaque.
Yes. But I think that's what works for me. So like even in those things, we are not trying to duplicate every single thing that I do, you have to do. No, what we are saying is, it is important to have time with Jesus. When are you having time with Jesus?
Okay.
It is important to follow what the word says. How are you following what the word says? It is not necessarily A, B, C, do it exactly like me.
Yeah. That's good clarification, because I already know out in these streets. People are like, come be like me. I got the most disciples over here. I'm racking up. It's going to be a whole bunch of little tiny shoes. We're all going to sit on the front row and have our hair the same.
I mean, they're all going to look amazing, but no. That is not it.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And something that I love is it's Paul's resolve to just duplicate Jesus. Like the churches are fighting over like, I am a disciple of this guy and I am a disciple of that guy, and he's like, what are y'all doing? He said, if you're gonna boast on anything, boast on Jesus. Like stop the nonsense, right? So it is not about who has more disciples or who's killing it at the discipleship game. No, what we are trying to say is help people be more like Jesus.
That's good.
Like walk them through what it means to be saved, and how their lives should reflect the fact that Jesus is living in them now. Like that is the heart of discipleship. It is not about me having my posse, right? Like it is not that. It is not about who is more famous or who has the most fun in their group. You can do whatever you want, right? Like wherever. But that is not the important thing. Are their lives being transformed? Are they actually living differently? Do they actually understand what the word is telling them to do? Because that is what we are trying to duplicate.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's good. I like it.
That was a really good clarification.
Just mic drop.
Wait,
do you want a little Brents running around?
No, one is more than the world needs.
I agree. I concur. Let's keep moving. No, I like that you brought up the fact of evangelism, not versus discipleship, but like let's compare and contrast there. Like what are some key elements to discipleship that is not found in evangelizing?
I don't know how to distinguish that. I would say like, so Sol's 3 points today was learn about Jesus, believe in Jesus, obey Jesus. I think those 3 steps are both present in evangelistic discipleship and like mutual discipleship. I think it's just a matter of what level of things is happening. So like for somebody that doesn't know,
who you are talking to,
right? Like exactly, that's what I meant by that. So like learn about Jesus. That's applicable to everyone. I've been saved for, I guess 34 of my 40 years.
What? You got saved at?
I got baptized when I was 6. So I guess if you count that moment, sure.
Okay.
Let's just skip the teenage years. I'll tell you the T later.
Erased years.
There's a pause there.
What I'm trying to get at there is 30 plus years of walking with Jesus. I'm still learning about Jesus now, because we all are. Like our understanding of Jesus, our knowledge of Jesus, it's still growing. But that looks different for somebody that maybe is an atheist or grew up in another religion or is agnostic or whatever. They're learning about Jesus at a different rate or a different level. The things they're learning about Jesus may look different than what I'm learning about Jesus in this season. But either way, I still need somebody in my life that is helping me learn about Jesus. Okay, believe in Jesus. What I love about in Scripture, this belief in Jesus is not about agreeing to information. Like it's not, okay, I believe that Jesus was a first century rabbi, carpenter, son of God. Like it's not about the information. Believing in Jesus, biblically speaking, is saying I'm putting my trust, I'm putting my beliefs in. Another way to put it would be I'm putting my hope in Jesus. And that's a process that, it's for the unsaved new believer, but it also applies to 40-year-old Brent. Like there's still moments in my life where I'm still putting trust in Jesus. Like bad situation happens at work or in family or something's going on. I still need that, somebody in my life that's helping me put my belief, my trust in Jesus in that season. And then obeying Jesus. I mean, when does that stop? Right? Like there's like it doesn't matter how long you've been following Jesus or how short you've been following Jesus. You still need somebody in your life that's helping you obey Jesus. Now, at the beginning stage, it's like, okay, here's the 10 commandments. Let's not break those. Right? Then as you get further and further along, it's like, okay, well, we're supposed to be developing the fruit of the Spirit, and you were really rude the other day. Was that showing kindness? I don't think so. Then all of a sudden it becomes like we're working on the smaller details as we go. But in both scenarios, you're still learning about Jesus, believing in Jesus, and obeying Jesus. And that's where discipleship happens. So you need somebody walking you through that when you are brand new to the faith and when you're 40 years into the faith. You still need somebody in your life walking through those things.
Yeah, because we're not done. The moment that we're done, that means that we are
dead
with Jesus.
You're not done till you're dead.
You see how you said with Jesus and he said dead? It's like just straight to the point.
Look, you're gonna cut this clip. Which version is gonna be the cut? The cut is gonna be you're not done till you're dead.
You're right. Consider it done.
You can put that on TikTok now that TikTok is back. And I found a way to put it in, Pretty. That was just for you.
Oh, that one day shut down. No, it's back up. Did you know?
No.
TikTok is back up. We got a whole notification.
Oh, so it was just like down for like
it shut down at like 7 a.m. and it was
Like
back
2
by
hours?
like 1 p.m.
That's crazy. I want to do a hoax like that. Like, I
JK,
disappeared,
JK.
and then nope, I'm back.
Do it with the CLC app. It's like the CLC app is down, and now it's the Disciples app.
Well, that would be real. I guess
technically,
a couple more weeks before.
Do people have to download a new app? Or is the CLC app going to become the DC app? Do we know that yet? I've had people asking me, and I'm like, I don't know, people. It's above my pay grade.
Are you sure it's above your pay? You make the pay grade. So.
No, that's Carlton.
Okay, so from my understanding, it's going to transition into the DC app for a time being, and then we will have a link to eventually download a new version.
Okay.
So
Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. There's so many.
Don't delete us yet.
Right. So many amazing
We're still
things.
here.
Yes.
How about social media? So we are CLC Tinley. Sorry, this is totally off subject.
Wow.
But I'm sure people are curious, right?
And,
so we are CLC Tinley on Instagram and Facebook. What does that be? And on YouTube too,
On
right?
YouTube. So.
What is that handle moving forward?
It's a surprise.
Just stay tuned.
And
stay tuned. And don't delete us.
I cannot believe you put me on the spot like this.
Taisha's like, I'm here to ask questions, not answer questions.
What I will say is that you will not have to follow a new page. Everything will be turned over and cleaned up. And then you'll have the new handle, new pictures. I've been starting on social to change things over slowly if you follow us.
Dun, dun, dun.
So things have been turning over, a little at a time, just like we've been doing here at church, like a little at a time. We've been slowly turning things over. So, but thanks for putting me on the spot. See, there's only one Brent.
That's what I'm here for.
Pastor Brent.
I'm here for you, girl.
Thank you.
Here for you.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Goodness, if you were not here and it was like Pastor Carlton or Asa, I would have got thrown under the bus and ran over.
Listen.
I'm just asking the questions that people have been asking me in the lobby.
I think that's
the
good.
People want to know.
The people want to know.
The people want to
Carl-
know.
if
the people.
Carlton is the people.
If Carlton was here, no. If Carlton was here,
Carlton is the people. He
no.
doesn't even have Instagram.
Stop
does he
it.
care?
Stop it. If Carlton was here, I would have asked him, hey, when people are wanting to give, is there a new way of giving, or is the old way still work?
Go ask him.
Right? But these are the questions that I keep getting asked.
Okay, so you want to do a whole special turnover edition next week? We could do that.
We
could do that. That would be fun.
Our post First Love start of Disciples Church.
Yeah. Yes, we're gonna
do
turn
a First
over.
Love recap.
Yes.
Talk about how amazing Soul's message was.
Yes. Do you feel a certain way when she get like woo in the audience? No,
she gets woo
when they like
when she's preaching and I'm the
during the announcement video.
Yeah, they went nuts over her, and she was literally 8 seconds after I was up there, and it was dead silent. So I had to turn around and be like, "What am I, chopped liver? Like where's the love? Where's the appreciation?" And they were like, "Well, it's Soul," and I was like, "Well, I guess."
You bring that disciplined voice, so of course we're cheering for you, but it's kind of like we're scared at the same time.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. It's all good.
No.
You don't play games with them.
We don't play games, right?
You might want to bring the games out.
All right, we'll play Dachi.
Okay.
No.
I was so sad that nobody laughed at your joke. I thought it was funny.
I know. They left me hanging. I was like, okay.
So do you want to fill the people in? Fill the people in. You had a quick, is it called Easter egg? No?
Maybe. I don't know.
Easter egg?
I don't know.
Well, a quick, just like, I was just trying to make a funny. And
stay relevant.
Stay relevant, like I'm 40. I have to stay connected however I can, okay? So I
one
had
of the hip cool kids.
Yes, I had in my notes, let's play a game, and let's play a little game. Let's play a little game, and my son was like, oh, like in Squid Game. And I started laughing, and I actually told him, I should say, but don't worry, everybody's gonna live alive. And he's like, that's awful. Just say something like, but don't worry, there's no dachi. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's good.
I would have caught the first one.
And
it was a Bennett joke.
And I wrote it in, and he's not allowed to help me with my messages ever again because that did not land.
Is it not?
That did not work.
It's all good.
I think people were just judging the fact that the pastor was watching Squid Games.
Maybe. Yeah.
Are you talking about me? I wasn't judging her.
No. Okay, let's go back to this.
Okay, yeah. Let's go back.
Where did this conversation go?
This always happens.
I'm helping you out, see?
Do you notice how she pointed at me when she said this always happens? She's like, this always happens.
There's only one person that's always here.
Always.
It's not me. No,
this is why we said we needed a co-host for the show, because if it's just me, we go all over the place.
It makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. So,
bring us back.
Speaking of accountability, we're going to stay in the middle.
Okay.
Did you watch The Forge like you said that you watched?
Yes, I did watch The Forge, and I said I would watch it Friday night while Bennett was at soccer practice. And so this past Friday night while Bennett was at soccer practice, I sat in the little cafeteria area of the indoor soccer place.
Okay.
And I watched The Forge on my phone.
Okay, so is this going to be a Guy at the Movies movie?
No, it won't be. So no, but this is a great opportunity. So people recommend Christian movies for God at the Movies all the time.
Yeah.
But the whole point of God at the Movies is to help people find God when he isn't obvious.
Oh.
Right. So like the Christian movie, it's like, here's God.
Yeah.
Right. But like, can you find God in other things?
Mm-hmm.
And so
godly things.
Godly things in other things. And so like we used to call it biblical principles. Like there are biblical principles like all around us all the time. And so what we love to do is be able to take so we try and use like the Hollywood's biggest movies. So we do blockbusters and help them see
all the shade, but we'll talk about that later.
Biblical principles within that. A little bit of shade. So we don't ever do Christian movies. The closest we've ever come to doing a Christian movie is we did the biopic for C.S. Lewis.
Okay.
That was the closest we've ever come to just like a Christian movie.
Okay. So did you like The Forge?
I have mixed feelings.
Oh, so we need to know.
No shade implied. I think that when it comes to Christian movies, I think that it was maybe even a half step above the average Christian movie. My problem is I rank Christian movies kind of where I rank Hallmark Christmas movies.
Oh my goodness!
He's like, you would have loved it because it was like it's like a Hallmark movie.
Have
you not seen it? We have to do a movie night then.
We do. Let's do it.
So I'll say and for me that's just I'm a movie snob. Like I love film. That's why we do At the Movies, honestly. I love movies. I love cinematography. I love storytelling. I love all of that. Christian producers, directors, writers have just still never been able to get to that like good cinematography level.
Okay.
So like it just the way scenes were framed, the way the lines, the dialogue.
Looking at all of that?
He does.
No, I'm watching a movie.
He does that with everything.
Everything.
With everything.
I would have never even thought to say this scene is framed all wrong.
Yeah, but no, and like transitions, and Andy will back me up on this.
He's back there laughing. I'm like, I don't get it.
Like transition moments and stuff. Like there's an awkwardness when you're watching a Christian movie because they don't really know how to move a scene to another scene. So it's very abrupt in general.
Okay.
And so it's just, for me, like quality of movie, not great. The messaging of the movie, far as like, so coming as Disciples Church and discipleship, I thought that it presented discipleship in a beautiful way. I think that the message in the movie was fantastic. I think Christians will love it. I think if you were to try and tell your non-Christian friend that this is a great movie, they will laugh at you. Because like from a non-Christian perspective,
I'm glad we have no sponsorships with the movie Forge. We would completely not make the class.
But I can say,
to
the 8,000 or 873,212 people that told me that I needed to watch it, thank you. It was good. I recommend other Christians watch this movie. I think that it's a good depiction of what does taking somebody and really the discipleship that they demonstrate is like the mentor-mentee style of discipleship. And I think they did a really good job with it.
I agree. It was good.
Messaging was great.
Okay, good.
As a movie.
Like Brent has this eye for
It's the standard.
all of the little things. Like he can see all of the little things.
I'm surprised I'm still in the media department.
I'm just glad to be here. I'm just like,
I know. I just want to tell a story. He's like the frame.
Brent is the one that is looking at all
I'm a
of the
details guy.
all of the
I'm a
stuff,
details
all of the
guy.
stuff, and I mean, he's pretty spot on a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that until you said that.
I won't be
you know,
looking.
so
Yeah, we have a hard time watching TV shows together. Because she's just sitting there enjoying it. I'm like, that is the most lazy writing I've ever seen.
my
like,
God.
they just
everything, and I'm
wanted you
like,
to hate that character,
why?
so they just wrote him in a way that is so over the top. Like, oh, it's so
people
lazy. So
Send
lazy.
help.
Send help.
I am going to send help because I understand a little bit of what you get.
It's terrible.
But I can say they did a good job with the movie.
Okay.
Recommend it to Christians to watch, get a better understanding of discipleship. I think it's great.
Yes,
message.
fantastic. I agree. Before we end this plane, me and my buzzwords, I do want to talk a little bit about, I don't want to say the dangers of discipleship, but I'll tell you a story. There was a guy, I have a friend who goes to another church, and a guy got out of prison, right? And he started to like connect with people in the church, but his whole like motives was to like set them up and like rob them. It was crazy.
Okay, then.
Yeah. So how do you protect yourself, not just from being robbed, but just from ill motives of people like, hey, can you disciple me? But it's like they don't have good motives there. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it should be talked about, like how to, in this whole process, be led by God and look out for, even like as you're discipling people, how to like just, I don't know, look for red signs that are not necessarily biblical.
Yeah, I think that you have, I mean, sadly, we are in a world that is, it's very crazy, you know, and you can have people that are interested in what you have to offer for their own gain and not because of anything else. So I think that you have to be prayerful. Like, you have to be praying about the people in your life, and then you have to pray about who you are allowing into your space, right? The other thing is you can set boundaries, and that's okay. The fact that you are the one who is mentoring or discipling another person doesn't mean that they have full range into your life. And I think that sometimes that gets mistaken, because you feel like, well, if that's my person, then that means that they have full access to everything, and that's not like that. Like, you can't set boundaries, you can't set times, you can't set the things that you need in order for the relationship to be a healthy relationship, because we don't want you to just get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And that can happen in every relationship, truly. So boundaries are okay.
Yeah.
Boundaries with time, boundaries with spaces. You know, if we are very much of a open house, we would love to have people over, but we also know that there's times that with some people that you don't fully know, it may be that we meet at a cafe. You know, don't feel like you just have to have arms open and everybody welcome and everything, because that is not wise. So you have to go at it with wisdom. You know, you want to help people, and also in this process, I know that we, like I was saying, we don't quit on people, and it's true. But this whole journey is a two-way street. You cannot disciple somebody that doesn't want to be discipled.
That's good.
You cannot want to help somebody to change their life if they are not willing to put in the work. So if you have been talking about this and I've been trying to help you, and you really are not even making an effort, then that's a problem, and that is one of the red flags, right? Like, so then why you keep calling me if every time that I ask you to do something or that I tell you, you know, like, this is what the Bible says, you still just blow me off, you know? So I think that it is very important for you to to have your eyes open to to those things as well. You cannot force people to change.
That's good.
So there's times that we really believe that you know, we have the people's best interest in mind, but if they are not willing to put in the work, there's nothing we can do.
That's a good sign to look for, like
Yeah.
how invested they are in just listening or
Yeah, and if somebody's trying to use discipleship as their MLM, you know, like, it's my multi-level marketing, and I'm going to get these 10 people to buy into my product, and it's like that right there. Like, come on now. But like what we teach our leaders, our discipleship method, we call it IRD, intentional relational discipleship. And so the relational part, like, you should have relationship with the person you're discipling. So like, you already know that person. You kind of, you know their shortcomings, you know their qualities. Like, it would be really easy for you to be like, you know what, I understand what you're trying to do here, and that's not what I'm for. There's going to come times when, you know, maybe you don't have a great relationship with somebody and you're starting that exploratory. That's where I would say, like, what Sol said about meeting at a coffee shop or something is the best advice. Like, before you just open up your home to somebody that's practically a stranger, you want to get to know them a little bit. Now, is there a chance that somebody's going to try and take advantage of you? Absolutely. Like, but that's possible with everything. Like, somebody you work with might try and take advantage of you. You know, the homeless guy that you're begging for money, you know, he might be taking advantage of you. You give him $10, and then you see him walk to his Lexus, and you're like, wait a minute. Like, you never know.
That's true.
So yeah, be prayerful, use discernment. But really, for us, discipleship happens through relationships.
Yeah.
And so check out the relationship first. Start to build that relationship. And there may be somebody in the church that you're like, man, we've had some conversations that have been pretty good. Maybe there's something more that we can do here. Let's go out for coffee. Let's go out for breakfast. Let's go to a public space where we can talk and there's safety and all that. So I think sometimes you just got to go a little bit slower pace if you don't know the person that well.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's also important for you to have somebody that is discipling you.
Yeah.
You know, because there's times that you can feel invested in somebody and you might not see some of those red flags, right? Yeah. So if you have that relationship with somebody else and you can say, hey, so what do you think about this person? I have done this, I have done that, and get more wisdom than just your own.
That's
I
good.
think that it is also good in safety in numbers, right? Where you can have somebody else that can see outside from the specific relationship and can give you some input on things that you might not see or experiences that they might have, you know, that maybe like, oh yeah, I have experienced that with somebody else, and this is what my outcome was, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be yours, but at least you go at it with a little bit more of a knowledge of a just check this things out kind of thing. So we need that's why we need people. Like, you have to be in that community so that you can do things not just on your own. Yeah. It is not you just being all by yourself doing all of the things. If you have that person that it is pouring into you, and then when you're putting into somebody else, they can also give you the wisdom in what to do and how to go about it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I love the relational aspect of it. So that's really good advice for those who are kind of like, I'm a little nervous about discipleship. Start with your community. Start with who you are doing small group with. Start in those spaces until, you start walking on water, faith. And then, you can be more spirit led. So as we not conclude, I hate to, Pastor Brent always hates when I land the plane, but it needs to be landed. So
sometimes it's abrupt. Sometimes it's just like, man, I'm enjoying this conversation. I want to keep talking.
We're done.
And then she's like, I'm done.
But there's chicken to be eaten.
Right after this. So what is the biggest takeaway? And I'll do something a little different for both the be one, make one aspect. What is, for both of you guys, to give the biggest takeaway for this new commission as a church, as a body?
I think that for me, it would be that we are not trying to create the super race of Christians, right? Like, we are not trying to claim to be better than anybody else. We are not trying to say just we are the
But we
real
called
ones.
the series Better Than Christian.
like we are better than every other people, and you know, like our people are the real deal. Like the other churches don't have the real deal. No, I think that.
It feels like
for me, the takeaway would be that it is not that we are better or more special, is that we have decided that the most important thing in our life is going to be Jesus, and we are going to strive to be more like him every day and actually do what he says that we need to do. And it is not going to be easy, and it is not going to be always happy and always just, you know, like that's exactly what I wanted to say no to today, right? It's going to be costly, but that we have decided that no matter how costly it is and how uncomfortable it gets, I'm still going to choose Jesus over wherever I want. And that to me is what the heart of Disciples Church is. It is not for me to go to other churches and be like, you guys, you're a bunch of Christians, we are disciples. Like, because the moment that you get into that point, then you have already failed, because then you are getting your ego above what God is telling us to do.
That's good.
Like, we want to be submitted to Jesus, and that's it.
That's good. I love that.
I like it.
How about you?
Man, I got a million things that I could say about this, because this is just where my heart's been for 2 years. But what really hit me while you were preaching, actually, I love, you brought up Romans 10. It's the how beautiful are the feet of those who bring the good news. And it just really hit me that you are someone you are the someone that somebody needs. And so, like, in that passage, it says, how can they hear unless someone tells them? And so I want to live my life with the understanding that I'm the someone that somebody needs. And so I want to make sure that I'm available in those moments, and that I'm looking for those opportunities, that I'm not so caught up in doing my thing that I miss the opportunity or I miss the moment, that somebody needs me to be the someone that they've been waiting for.
Yeah.
I'm about to cry. That was so magical.
Whatever, dude.
You saw the unicorns fly by.
Yes.
He was speaking.
Oh my gosh, that was really good. No, I'm not joking. Like, both responses were so good. I feel like as a church, going into the Disciples Church, we are so honored to be led by a woman and a man of God who have a heart for God's people and just have a heart for the things of God. So I say this sincerely, that I'm grateful to be a part of this church, this body of Christ. And that was just encouraging. So we are going to land this plane. Are you going to get emotional? No? Okay.
I don't get emotional.
Okay, we know.
I might. Who knows?
But we are so excited here. I'm gonna say it one last time at CLC, because after this, we are going to be Disciples Church. So we pray that you will continue on this journey with us. Share this. Take a look at the sermons. This whole month, we focused on the transition from CLC to Disciples Church. So take a look at those videos, look at the announcements, look at the sermons, and also watch the podcast and share with your friends and family. We are on a journey here, and we are on a mission to be one and make one. So we are thanking you for joining us on this journey.
And before you sign off, though, this weekend,
dang it,
it's a big weekend.
It's a huge weekend.
She
First Love Conference.
already landed the plane.
I was landing the plane.
Don't again.
Invite the people to First Love.
Invite the people. How could I forget? This is actually my favorite weekend here at Disciples Church. We're just going to start saying Disciples Church.
Let's go for it.
My favorite weekend. We have First Love. We have amazing speakers. Where's my horn? Thank you. Amazing lineup, amazing worship, amazing dynamic speakers. We are going to be just in full go mode this weekend.
Friday night starts 7 p.m. with William McDowell.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome. Saturday morning, we're going to have prayer at 9, and then service starts at 10 with the one and only Susana Fuego Soledad McQuay. Saturday night is Manny Arango.
Yes.
Really awesome dude. Sunday morning, and that's at 6 o'clock Saturday night. Sunday morning, 9 and 11 with the gospel ninja himself, Dan Leanne,
yes.
who has become, I think, kind of like a big brother to our church over the last couple of years. Just an amazing guy. And then Sunday night, I'll close out the series and the conference and everything at 6 o'clock. And it's going to be a close to First Love, a close to CLC.
Oh my goodness!
But also a close to Better Than Christian. It's the message that I held off on.
Oh my goodness!
Earlier in the series, so that we could do it Sunday night. So.
Sound like it's going to be fire. So you want to be here all 3 days, and we're dropping our DC merch. I'm so excited.
It's going to be so great.
It's going to be great. The energy is going to be high. So make sure that you are in the building if you are in the Tinley Park, Chicagoland, or Indiana, or any surrounding areas. But also join us online. We have a whole amazing online community that's ready if you are in other states and you cannot make it here. Join us online. But we are ready to worship with you this weekend. And did I do good? Did I land a plane?
That was awesome.
All right, let's land this plane.
You get to keep your job for one more week.
Whoa. I'm glad this was on camera.
It's a new season. It's a new season.
New season. You
Job
might be
security
a new host.
for 7 days.
I'm just playing. Let's go eat some chicken, guys. We'll see you later.